Michigan becomes the latest state to propose a first responder buffer bill. I'm Greg Friese. I'm a paramedic, a runner, and I also like to find ways to connect news with wellness topics. I'm talking to Joel.
I'm Joel Neal. I'm a paramedic and a registered mental health counselor intern.
Great. Joel, excited to have this conversation. You've read this news article on EMS1. Michigan, their House has passed this 25-foot first responder buffer bill intended to create penalties for people who come within 25 feet of first responders to interfere with them, threaten or harass them. You've been out in the field and on the streets, and you know sometimes scenes can get really heated. Thinking back to your own field experience, something like this probably even help.
In my experience, especially if there's a lot going on, it's a rather chaotic scene. I'm not thinking about these people have to stay 25 feet back from me. In most of the states I've worked in, that we already had laws where it's against a law to interfere with the police, fire, and EMS. So our primary concern from the firefighter and paramedic perspective is scene safety first, always, but it's also the patients we have, how many we have. So for us to add on that extra layer of are these people within this 25-foot ring is really secondary. And from a police perspective, they're busy trying to scan the crowd, trying to do their job too, trying to figure out what happened. So we're all doing this job, and I feel like these halo laws are with good intent, but it just adds another thing to the cognitive load that the responders have to deal with.
You said scene safety. Sometimes we've got to move the patient to make the scene safer. Get in the ambulance or get the cops to move people out of the room or the house. Get the firefighters to start spreading out and make some barrier. Cognitive load is really interesting. Tell me what you mean by cognitive load.
Well, as responders, we're already thinking of all the things that we have to be doing. So the firefighters and paramedics are thinking about who the patients are. How many patients do I have? Are these life-threatening injuries? What do I need to stabilize? If it's a car accident, you have to add on to the how do I get this patient out of the car problem. So we're going through a rapid sequence of things mentally, all of our checklists. If we add more things to the checklist, like are these people within this perimeter, it already takes away some of that brain power we need to use to figure out how to solve the problem in front of us.
Another thought I had, I've been on a few scenes that are really chaotic, and I can feel it in the moment that my pulse is going up, my level of anxiety is going up. And then sometimes I ended up carrying that with me into the ambulance, to the hospital, all the way back to the station. And I think there's a risk for us. What's the wellness impact of that? And then how do we come down from a really charged scene?
What happens is anytime we go into a call and it's chaotic, or any call actually, we go into the fight or flight response. So our sympathetic nervous system gets activated. And we're in that mode for the entire time, especially if you're transporting. So as soon as the tones hit, that's when it starts. You'll feel your heart rate go up a little bit. It'll go up even more once you hear the details. If it sounds like it's something that could be severe, you're thinking about that stuff. And it takes a while for those levels of adrenaline, cortisol to come down in our body. That's why if you run in the middle of the night, it takes you a little bit to get back to sleep because you have to come down out of that sympathetic nervous system response. So that really impacts the quality of sleep you're getting. And if you're in a busy station, living in that fight or flight mode all the time really is draining you from a lot of energy that you don't notice until the adrenaline is out of your system. You'll suddenly feel just exhausted.
Do you have a tip or a recommendation we can end on, Joel, of how somebody can let some of that go, either to go to sleep, go home with their family, or even just get their body and their brain ready for their next call?
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good grounding technique that I teach to my clients. It's called the awareness of senses, or sometimes the five senses. And what it involves is when you find yourself really, really amped up and you need to ground yourself in the moment, you sit in a position that's comfortable with you. It can be crossed legs or sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Take a couple nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then just bring your attention immediately to five things you see around you. You name them off in your head. And then we do four things that you can hear around you. And then you do three things that you can feel. So like the chair you're sitting on, the fan in your room across your skin. Then two things you can smell. And then one thing you can taste. And then you do another couple of breaths and you just let that out. That'll really bring you back into the present. And it'll help you come out of that fight or flight mode.
That's a great tip and something that I'm going to try, Joel. I think you've got an article about that. We'll make sure we link to that and any other resources. Before we go, if somebody's watching, how can they get a hold of you?
You can go to my website, joelneal.com. It's JOELNEILD.com. It has the blog articles and resources there and contact information if you're looking to learn more about mental health first responders.
Wonderful. Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Greg.